What a beautiful charge!
Whoa,
This is
what
fine. Oh my god, this is what a save, my guy!
Clean, how in the world do we commentate a match after that last one, dude?
I'm not sure. Like, I started the day tired, and now I'm ending the day also tired. I don't know what's going
Imagine
on.
how Richard and Steinman feel.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that match was amazing. We're gonna have a match now, which is we're gonna do our best to make it exciting. I cannot promise it will be quite as exciting as the last one.
Oh, what are you talking about? We got the Wacom pen, man.
This is true, and that'll sort of be a nice transition into things. We have another match coming at you here. I think we have 2 left today. This one's out of the Swallow's Nest group between Xeirla and bdbRufus. So since you mentioned the tablet, Clean, I think I'll throw it to you if you want to introduce Xeirla.
So yeah, Xeirla was actually inspired to play this game by the just the amazing art. So we got a bit of an artist here, and he decided to map his pen to some of the abilities. I'm not sure which ones. I think he's got like jump or dash or one of those on his pen, and so he's actually that's his main way to move throughout the game. So that's gonna be super exciting to see how it goes for him. I think bash as well. So again, so Xeirla, very good player, and they actually have they've done some very good tricks, which you wouldn't expect from someone with like a 1 hour PB.
That's right, and just to give a quick information about Rufus as well, you can see that he's a controller only player. There are not that many of them in total, but Rufus is one of them. He'll be going for 6 HP, including that Grotto 2 energy door, which we'll actually see out of both people, which is sort of a less common health cell to get. Rufus has been with Ori for quite a while. He learned this game for a 12-hour challenge way back in August of 2016, but then since that time has been away from the game for a little while. Rufus, there may be some rust involved there, although Rufus also had another match just earlier today, like a few hours ago, versus Flux, which he won. So I'll be very curious to see what's happening here. As we get started, Clean, I'll also just point out that similar to other matches, and especially given the input discrepancy we have during this match, I would not expect the final times here to be incredibly close. So we're really just looking more for a solid performance out of both people, maybe either get a PB or improve their race time, or if not, just, kind of have fun.
That's right. Xeirla actually PB'd in the last race he played, so he's been doing well. So we're gonna get started here.
That's right. Imagine having fun in a speedrun. No, speedrunning can be fun, because that last race was really fun, and this one's going to be fun too. As always, at the start here, we will not expect to see very much. One sort of difference I think I'll point out, Xeirla on the right, you do see that his user interface is on, whereas for the vast majority of runners, they have their UI off for almost the whole game. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly from Xeirla's last run, that he's probably going to leave it on most of the time. I don't know that for sure, so I might be wrong, but I guess if anyone who's watching this game and is not as intimately familiar as all of us are, you may actually get to see some of the information for once in your life. Or maybe not. Yeah. We'll find out.
Yeah, definitely having that UI off can be a problem for learning the game, because sometimes while learning, you'll lose track of how much energy and the HP you actually have. So
that's right. Xeirla also has a nice color code on the right. It's sort of it's just off-white, sort of reddish, like you just dipped Ori. Oh wait, no, now we're a different color. Are we going to see one more? I was going to say it's like we're getting kind of close to Easter. I'm imagining just picking Ori up and dunking him in like an egg coloring thing, and that's what the color code does basically.
I mean, you could do that. And you can actually do the egg painting and draw Ori on an egg. I mean, that's what you want to do that.
You totally could.
Xeirla has a little bit of trouble with these first Frankies, but it's gonna get through them. Well, and Rufus has gotten through very nice by him, and he's on his way, mainly just jumping. That's the main way to tackle here.
There sure is a whole lot of jumping in this early section. There's even some jumping in the late game, although many may find that hard to believe. We're going to see jumping throughout this whole speedrun. We're going to even see some movements. We're going to see some skills and some abilities. This speedrun is just jam-packed full of content.
I can't believe it. There's so much going on right now. Rufus, I think that hit was intentional by that slime, so he can set up his health to do a very nice 1 HP ghost door coming up.
Yeah, that's right. You can get semi-random, well, they are just pretty much random health drops from some of these enemies. So getting your health down to 1 is not always easy. Sometimes you get a little bit unlucky, but looks like Rufus pulled it off just fine. So Rufus over on the left side is currently in the lead, although that isn't really too impactful in this early game here. Xeirla also got his Ghost Orb that's a little bit slower to the point where it probably didn't really save that much time at all, but he got it and it looked cool in the process. So I guess I'll probably expect to see Rufus continue just taking a few seconds here in their lead over Xeirla, maybe throughout the whole run. Although, just to reiterate, Xeirla's playing this game on a freaking drawing tablet, so just keep that in mind as we get through this.
No, yeah, I asked him, just like, hey, can you like set up a webcam so I can actually see what kind of movement you're doing there? And he's like, all right. Well, it didn't actually happen, but I wish.
I'm sure it exists. I know that Xeirla does some art streams, using the drawing tablet for something other than speedrunning a video game, shockingly enough. But anyway, Rufus is quickly making his way down to wall jump. We'll see if he levels up on the way down. No, so that means he'll level up on the way up, which is just fine. It's not really faster one way or the other. Xeirla was having a little bit of trouble getting out of the section. You see him playing it a little bit safe and just taking out these brambles rather than trying to do any fancy damage boosting. But he didn't level up early, and he's alive. Those two factors, very, very important.
Yeah, definitely a little bit slow movement. Ooh, he's gonna take a death. But I will send him back to the Ghost Store, but hopefully he'll be able to make that up again. Deaths in this game are way more costly than just a little bit of slow movement.
That is true. So Rufus is off to a pretty solid start. All the way up to wall jump, there are certainly things you can do to optimize, but I think later in the game, when you start to get charge dashes and whatnot, is where you can really start piling on the speed tech if you want to. One sort of, I don't know, tidbit of information about this. So the current world record run of this game is by Wilson at just under 29 minutes. The tasks for this game, there's an All Skills task, you can look it up on YouTube, is at 26 minutes even with an old route. So there's just a ridiculous amount of potential for further and further optimization of pretty much every single section. It's one of my favorite things about this speedrun.
Yeah, it'd definitely be interesting to see a task do the current route of the game. See what they'll be able to pull off.
We will indeed.
Xeirla's now doing a second attempt down here to get the wall jump. Not going to level up. I believe they'll probably do it on the way out. As Rufus is setting up the classic save anywhere to skip this cutscene.
That's right. Rufus is on controller, so save anywhere is a trick that is generally considered easier on keyboard, mouse, and potentially a little bit faster. It's not that it's really hard on controller. You just have to be a little bit more careful, because on controller, as opposed to keyboard, mouse, when you press A to jump on a controller, you can also accidentally spend an ability point if your cursor is in the wrong place in the ability. So Rufus, knows what he's doing. He knows how to run this game on controller, but it's something that it's sort of an extra piece of information he has to track as he does these multiple save anywhere tricks throughout the run, whereas Xeirla is not going to have to do that in the same way.
That's right. Xeirla's now got wall jump and does the level up on the way out. Very nice. As Rufus is in super spooky section of Black Room.
Dude, it's this spiky area in particular that is just really, really scary, because these platforms are very, very thin, and they're quite easy to slide off of. I will say that Ori, in my opinion, is one of the few games with precise enough platforming that you can have these kinds of platforming puzzles that are that precise, and you can pull them off as consistently as you can. And it looks like Rufus did pull it off pretty consistently. I'd expect to see a safety save. We did not see a safety save, did we?
Ooh. I
Maybe we saw a safety save. There may or may not be a safety save, which means that Rufus may or may not be in more or less amounts of danger. How's that for commentary?
Basically we have no idea, but he's just gonna move out through these lasers. Very dangerous.
Make it to make it. We'll pretend that we know what we're talking about. Rufus looks like he caught his cycle. That's good. Missing that cycle costs you about 8 seconds, as many of the cycles of Black Bros seem to for some reason. So Rufus is sort of quickly approaching a little orb and then the dash room while Xeirla is entering the area. So Rufus does have a nice solid lead at the start here.
Yeah, definitely. And with these times, that's what you expect. But we were mainly focusing on, for both of these runners, just have a good time overall. Because with Rufus, who has a sub 40 PB, you would hope that he can actually achieve a sub 40 best race time.
Let's hope so. Yeah, he had a little bit of issues, Rufus did, jumping down from that platform. He sort of landed on the ledge when he meant to fall down, and that little bit of a difference cost him that platform cycle, which is going to cost him some additional time. That's one example of how precisely managed all these cycles are in this area. Like Rufus in the last room ended up just standing still at a certain location for a specific amount of time because he just wanted to catch that platform cycle exactly, just barely missed it, but that's okay. Did make it to the lever, is still in the lead over Xeirla, so that's not going to be too problematic for Rufus.
Ooh! Xeirla forgot to get rid of the orb. There's two types of platforms in Black Burrows. One's where the orb, where they disappear if you have the orb, and ones that reappear. And that was not the platform that he was looking for.
Who put super glue on the orb? Was it you, Clean?
Nah, it must have been. It was Terra.
GDI Terra. Sounds like something Terra would do. Xeirla did take a little bit of damage on the way down, so Rufus has made it to dash. Good job. Xeirla did take a little bit of damage, as I said, so he's going to have to be slightly careful. See if he drops the orb this time. He does. Look at that. Brilliant adaptation by Xeirla.
Yeah, very nice. Oh! And...
That's a rough one. That's a rough one.
That's a little bit of commentator's curse there.
I would not be surprised to see a safety save this time from Xeirla. We were not joking when we said that particular location, that particular area in Black Burrows is among the scariest of the section. And for that reason, you'll see many people take a safety save after you kill the slime. Let's see if Xeirla decides to this time. He's not.
He's not, and I guess in overall this is good because on the first, I believe the first attempt, he missed the XP from that slime, but now he's got the XP, so hopefully this will work out. As we're focused on Xeirla, we got Rufus here trying the Frankie walk, the first big sequence break of the game, and hopefully it goes well for him.
I can't see him having too many issues. I mean, this is a trick that's been around for a while in some different forms, and Rufus has been around the game for a while, even if he hasn't been active the whole time, so he's able to open the door just fine. Next up, Rufus has to make it through the poison water, take out the slime, and get underneath this Frankie, which has a chair. That's the word I'm looking for. It has a chair, but it didn't touch Ori today. Is deciding to not go for the Death Glide, which doesn't save very much time anyway, and it's just going to go ahead and make it through. So Rufus is really off to a pretty solid start. I don't know offhand whether he's on PB pace or not. Frankly, even if he was on PB pace, it still would not be that impactful this early in the run, but Rufus is having some nice clean play, and he opened up the 2 energy door on the way down, which he's going to be using later for an extra health cell.
Oh wow, if you saw what Xeirla's trying to do, they stopped for a second because they're trying to jump over that XP, because now you can see he's really trying to manage his XP to set that level up for the Frankie walk. He's a bit close, you might have to dodge this slime coming up.
I think he's going to. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, but kind of as you get more experience with this game, you learn where different amounts of fill on that experience wheel, how much experience that represents. So if Xeirla has to dodge the slime up here, he's going to have a little bit of a hard time because it's harder to not kill that slime. He tends to snipe you off the platform if you're unlucky. Meanwhile, on the left side, Rufus got a very clean ghost door. He manages health quite well going through the spikes. There are 1 damage spikes and 2 damage spikes, and I think he took intentional damage from both of them. And then got sniped.
Ooh. Xeirla, don't believe really set up a cycle manipulation, but hopefully he's able to dodge this slime so he does not level up. So far looks good. And,
well, to direct everyone's attention over to the left for a moment, you're going to see Rufus doing his blind movement. The hardest part, I'd say, of this blind movement is the patch of poison water right in the middle. You'll always tell if you're taking damage because once the cutscene ends, you start seeing red flashes on your screen and you're stuck underneath the platform. But Rufus made it through. He didn't make it up super high on the wall, but that's okay. It still saved him a little bit of time over not doing the blind move.
That's right. Xeirla is onto the platform cycle, and this will allow him to get his dash ability. And while Rufus is out of grotto, he's got to do a little bit of tricks and a few cutscene skips to make it work, but it'll happen.
He does, and we'll see how quickly Rufus can get this grotto skip. Nice and fast, nice and fast. That's a trick that is not incredibly difficult, but it can sort of infinite you if you get in your own head about it a little bit. So cleanly done by Rufus. Get it? Because your name is Clean.
Oh yeah, the classic.
Good joke, Grim. Good joke, Grim.
I haven't seen mine. I haven't seen my VOD yet for my second race, so I'll have to see how many jokes there were.
Probably a lot of them. I do just want to also point out that we're seeing, at least I've been seeing, a number of these color codes from Xeirla, and I just kind of appreciate that since he is an artist. I think that's sort of fitting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely all the colors, and you gotta get some good ones in there. Sometimes you get a gold Ori, it's like, ooh, it's a nice one. So Xeirla's got dash, and now he's on to do his front walk. He's got enough XP for it due to missing that slime, so that'll set it up for him very nicely.
That's right. Over on the left side, Rufus is taking a detour to go grab this health cell, which for him will be number 5. You start the game with 3. They both picked up a health cell back in Glades, and then that's number 5 of a total of 6 that Rufus is going to be getting. And I believe that Xeirla is going to be going for... I know he's going to be going for 6. I think it might be the exact same 6, if I recall correctly. I just know they're both getting 6.
Yeah, and that Grotto health cell is actually one you don't see many players get too often, so it's good to see someone going to get it.
Bit of a ballsy play there by Rufus. He did take some damage from the falling slime as well, so I mean, he didn't die, so everything's all fine and good, but I'm a little bit surprised. I expected Rufus to take a bit more safety and take out the enemies. But while Rufus is making his way towards the Ginso tree, Xeirla is sort of doing a more exciting section, kiting this Frankie along towards the door, and then he has to get through his death gauntlet.
Very exciting indeed.
Come on, Froggy. Come on, Froggy. There it is. Oh, and he got energy too.
I don't know if he knows. Yeah, he does. So he's gonna make a save. So he doesn't have to go down Frankie Walk again. I don't know what I just said, but good thing he gets the energy too.
If you go to Google and you type in value safety save, this is the screenshot that comes up. That is only a 10% drop chance on that energy, and it saved Xeirla's life 2 different times. Without that safety save, Xeirla would have gone all the way back to dash, and that would have been, well, quite a bit worse than what did happen.
He falls to the bramble, but he'll make it up, and very nice. He'll get that energy and make a save. Rufus is into Ginso. Tell us about Ginso.
Ginso Tree is the first dungeon of Ori in the Blind Forest. It's super tall. We're going to be jumping, double jumping. Not triple jumping, but we used to, but double jumping.
You can get triple jumping, though, if you play the game regularly. Not like a speed run.
No, seriously, it is a dungeon with quite a bit of vertical movement, otherwise known as verticality. I'm just glancing over at chat. I'm waiting for the spam of verticality. Yes. The first 2 rooms of the Ginso Tree are sort of cycle-based, similar to Blackroot Bros. Rufus made it through without too many issues, and the Ginso Tree also introduces portals, so you know you can start thinking with portals during this dungeon if you want to. Hopefully not start thinking with spikes.
Right. Xeirla is apparently thinking about spikes, as he took a small death, but has that safety save right at the beginning of Grotto, so he's just gonna be going through these crushers again.
That's right. So the next major obstacle here for Rufus over on the left side, who still does have a pretty sizable lead over his opponent. As Xeirla does take a quick death and another one into those spikes. Good thing he made that safety save. Xeirla is just really showing us the meaning of safety saves in this run, wouldn't you say?
No, yeah, definitely. And again, it's all about that. Being safe is definitely can be more useful than trying to get that time, and then you end up dying, and it really hurts.
Rufus is partway through his mini-boss fight. Since he's playing on controller, it looks like he's mashing shots rather than trying to pace them. If you pace them, you can optimally get in a few more shots, but it's not by very much. Looks like he's not getting incredibly good cycles, but that's okay. He is through the mini-boss. I do want to point out that Rufus, he's not on PB pace, at least as of like double jump and entering Ginso, but he's on pretty okay pace, and I think he could totally bring this back. He's also doing that cycle, the thing that for a long time we wondered if it was faster.
No, yeah. We didn't really know, but then it worked out. It was.
I'm fairly certain that was the origin of that meme. Nice to see it. Was it Rufus who spawned it? Now that I think about it, I remember I was commentating that match with Sigma. Yeah, Vula on stats is telling me Rufus invented that trick. So thank you, Rufus. You brought it back. Once again, we can ask the question: is that faster?
Perfect. You got.
Oh, I love it.
One of the best parts to that intro. Is that really faster? Ooh, Xeirla is in the little bit of the pool. It's gonna take a dip, but gets out without dying. Very nice.
Oh God.
That was close.
We've talked for multiple races in the row now. Like I know it was mentioned in the last race, and I think the one before that, that these walls are very, very accurate. If you look visually at the wall, it's God, I'm butchering the sentence. The visuals of the wall very closely match their collision. So if the wall looks kind of jagged, it means that your wall jumping up the wall is probably also going to be jagged. In other words, these walls in Grotto especially can be very slippery, and sometimes you slip into an area that you don't want to be, like a bed of spikes.
Yes, definitely. Or he's got plenty of more realistic walls than you think, because wall jumping is not perfect every time.
Not every time. You do get used to it. Like, it's consistent. It's just, it's very, very precise. You know, if you are a few pixels down on the wall, you might not get the wall jump that you thought you were going to get. Xeirla's having some issues with his grotto skip. On the right, it's a precisely timed jump. Yep, he's just going to take a death in order to reset that swinging platform, because the trick is even more difficult if your platform is swinging around. Still having some struggles with it. While Rufus on the left is into his key dupe section. He did successfully get through his key dupe, which is the most important thing, but decided to play a little bit safe by just sort of slowly jumping into the spikes rather than falling into it out of the air.
Oh yeah. So now he's got 3 extra keys, which he'll use again for later in the run. As he's on to the last mini boss where he leaves Ginzo, and when Xeirla actually gets to Ginzo, he's actually going to doing the escape. So that's something to look forward to.
Is absolutely something to look forward to. We may be having some technical difficulties. We will find out. In the meanwhile, we'll focus on Rufus, who is, unlike Xeirla, not going to do the final escape. Instead, Rufus is going to leave this area. He's going to teleport back to Moon Grotto, which is a spirit well he just touched earlier, and he's going to be quickly heading into his swamp entry trick. Yeah, and it looks like Xeirla is just restarting his game. So, that would explain the black screen, and we're going to be loading back in, and Xeirla's just going to continue on strong.
Yeah, a bit of a crash, I guess. It's very interesting, but he is back, and I believe, yeah, he has a save right next to Grotto, so he's just going to keep trying Grotto skip. Let's hope he gets it soon. Rufus is skipping another cutscene. This one you don't really have to skip. Some people tend to, because then he's going to do some blind movement coming up.
That's right. Rufus's blind movement, his objective is to get as close to the frog as possible. He did take some damage, so he's going to have to do his blind movement one more time. There are some spikes between Ori's current location and the frog, and Rufus took 2 additional damage. He is at 5 health, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful. I would be surprised if we didn't see a safety save. There it is. So now Rufus has to bash this frog over to the right. He is on controller, which means he does not have the luxury of these double bashes, and as a result, accidentally dunked his frog, but thankfully that safety save is going to mitigate the time loss due to killing the frog.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Why do these frogs dive when they hit the water? I'm not sure. Something
the water's poison. That's...
Oh.
Although they would probably also die without water, so I don't know if that's a good answer.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So he's going to be bashing this shot here.
That was really close to the frog.
Super close. Oh, he gets it this time. Very nice.
Nice job. The most important thing with that trick is even if you have to bait out multiple shots, it's just important that you don't kill your frog, because if you kill the frog, you have to bring it all the way over there, and that's just a whole pain that we would prefer to avoid doing multiple times in a single run.
Yeah, definitely. So he's on to get Stomp, which allows us to move downward fastly. He's got to get all the abilities to make you move fast. Xeirla's going to go ahead and make a bit of a save by that teleporter. That's a good idea, I'd say, just in case anything bad happens coming up.
I mean, I hope that Xeirla doesn't take any unintended deaths, but he's also just had a ton of super valuable safety saves this run, so maybe noticing a bit of a pattern. Not really a bad idea to do that. Anyway, yeah. Rufus has picked up Stomp. I mentioned earlier that Ori is really a game of micro-optimizations once you really get into the thick of things. And Stomp is a good example of that. As we've mentioned multiple times over the course of this tournament, stomping downward is faster than falling just due to gravity, sort of given the game's terminal velocity. And you would be surprised over how short a vertical distance stomping will still save you time. So that's why if you watch advanced runners, they're sort of stomping down, not all, but most vertical sections. It just saves little bits of time here and there. Looks like Rufus had some issues with his frog. He's going to bring it up one more time. The frog is still alive, which is what matters. There's the bash and got up to the cell. Nicely done.
Yeah, that was very nice. That frog can be a little tricky, but he's able to get through it. And now he's on to one of the hardest cutscenes to skip, the Kuro cutscene.
The Kuro cutscene skip is triggered by a vertical sensor, which is invisible. And if you bash at the right time, you can use the bash's short-range teleport to get through, which Rufus did not do. So we get to see Grop himself make a grand appearance and then swoop off into the distance. There's some text as well, but it doesn't show up because our UI is hidden. That's a cutscene that takes something like 17 seconds, I think, so it is pretty costly if you miss it. I don't know offhand whether Rufus got it on his PB, so that may or may not impact his PB potential.
No, yeah, we're not too sure, but for now he's on pretty good pace. At 22 minutes, he's just with these spiders, so that's some very nice pace by him. Xeirla is now in the vertical dungeon, and he's actually go all the way to the top, so we get to see that. That'll be exciting.
It will be very, very exciting. Meanwhile, Rufus is able to grab his 5th energy cell. He now has both 5 health and 5 energy. Did watch that cutscene, but that's... Wow. Wow. I didn't know he was going to do that.
I didn't know either. That's a...
Can you briefly explain what it is that Xeirla just did?
So he used telehops, which are basically when you go through a teleporter, your double jump gets refunded. So you can actually very trickily double jump through all of those teleporters and get up without having to go through those teamers. Very nice. You don't see that from many players, and especially ones of Xeirla's caliber.
Especially people playing with a pen.
Yeah.
You usually don't see it.
Yeah. You never know, but so Xeirla's gonna continue, and now Rufus is on to another cutscene skip to get to the Valley of the Wind.
Xeirla is the same color as those projectiles. That is so cool.
You're right.
Plus, I'm really hungry, so I look at Ori and he looks like the color of like frosting on a cake or something. I'm just gonna eat it. Come here, Ori. I'm hungry.
Graham, I think you should get some food after this.
Oh, I have it prepared. You don't even know. You
Alright.
don't even know.
Nah, I'm excited.
Me too. Okay, well, Rufus has made it over to the left side of the map. He stomps a peg. He's going to go bash a froggy. He's going to go up high. Our next eventual target here is the next skill in the game, which is known as Glide. But Glide is actually a feather from Kuro, that villain we saw briefly during the Kuro cutscene skip. And to get that feather, we have to bash rocks, well, stomp rocks, excuse me. But we're not going to stomp them, because Rufus is going to do a trick known as Stompless. And we'll see how cleanly he can pull that one off. There are multiple components to it that all have to work together in harmony to lead to a successful overall attempt.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit of a weird one. We have to manipulate this spider shot, and then it actually will break the platforms. A tiny shot will break all of those rocks over there.
So here's the first shot. Rufus is going to bait a spider projectile. There it is. The shot looks... Oh, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Maybe it looks good. I thought it looked good, but maybe I'll be eating those words, which should be fine. I'm really hungry. Anyway, Rufus is going to go grab the cell, and it looks like he did it successfully. Well done by Rufus.
Very nice. You never... Sometimes it can be a 50-50, which whether that shot will hit or not. And also, he did not get the sad cell, so good job to him.
Very, very important. Every single ability cell that you pick up during the course of this speedrun is pre-planned, because we need every single one that we can get. And so missing it means that you need to either go get the cell again, which is what we call sad cellus, or you just need to go get a different ability cell, which is slower than just getting it correctly the first time.
Oh, yeah. If you're on a really good PvP pace, that one can hurt, but Rufus was not able to get sad cellus, so he's on to Sorrow Bash.
He is indeed. Sorrow Bash is above us, and we're not going to climb walls like a casual. We're instead going to do a rocket jump like a speedrunner. You're going to see Rufus make a safety save and refill his energy. He also took a safety save down below. So Rufus has to position himself properly. Again, because Rufus is on controller, he does not get the luxury of easier double bashes. So for controller or keyboard mouse players, you'll see many of them do this trick using double bashes. Rufus instead got the bash off, and he's through the first try. That was real close.
Yeah, very nice. That can be for some people one of the hardest sequence breaks to pull off in the game, but he's able to do it. And ooh, Xeirla's so close to dying those spikes there, but looks good.
That's right. So now with Rufus in there, you're going to see him do some more rocket jumps. I think we'll see him drop down below the same frog, which he gets to use for multiple purposes. Did not make a safety save before this area. What in the world am I calling it today? The oven-baked barracks. But he is going to make it through and hopefully not take damage. Rufus does have 5 health, but he didn't take damage anyway, so the professional, he's fine.
Yeah. Looks good, and he's on to a charge jump. Very nice.
He is indeed. I'll let you take it from here, though.
So Xeirla is onto the mini boss, and but we'll see it differently. Is there's actually head up top, as that's where the heart of the Ginso tree is. As if you played this game actually regularly, you would actually that's where you put the water vein, and that's where Xeirla will do his final Ginso escape.
Now, this is going to be exciting. Just to reiterate and make it extra crystal clear, Rufus on our left side is in the lead, and he has a pretty sizable lead, although as we said at the start of this thing, this is kind of what we expected, given the differences in their PBs and especially their input methods. We did not expect this to be a close race or for Xeirla to seriously compete for a victory, but we're just hoping for good performances, and I think we are getting pretty good performances on both sides. From here, on the right side, Xeirla is trying to do a trick known as core skip, which he had some trouble with. Core skip, I will actually take a moment to explain since we don't get to see it very often. You're supposed to clear out corruption on both sides of this Ginso tree. That's a room on the left and the room on the right. But instead of doing that, Xeirla is going to, well, he's having some troubles with it, but he's trying to bring this frog up top, and then he's going to kill the frog, dash off to the right, and use the frog's experience to level up, and then use the level up explosion to take out both sides of the corruption at the same time. It's a trick that used to be extremely common in every single version of the speedrun, but it was routed out roughly 6-ish months ago, I'd say, at this point.
Yeah, to do the clean water skip, people are like, oh, we don't need to actually do this anymore, so everyone abandoned it, but Xeirla is going to go ahead and go for it here.
I love this trick. It's one of my favorites, especially because it's been around since the vanilla days. Like, we did core skip in some of the earliest versions of the speedrun, even before all skills existed as a category.
Yeah, definitely. Rufus is now out. He's going to be heading to Misty. Again, not really a trick-based session, just all about that good and solid movement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Rufus has made a nice safety save at the start of Misty Woods. He's going to be making his way through. I still just kind of want to watch Xeirla. This is an exciting section that, as I said, we don't get to see very often. And I'm fairly certain that Xeirla is doing all of this dashing on his tablet with the pen. So little bit understandable if he's not maybe as perfectly practiced and precise as many of our KBM players. Let's see if he can get the frog up. That one looks better. So he's going to be first redirecting a frog projectile in order to break the barricade rather than going and getting the spider projectile, which is the intended way through. There it goes. Then he has to get up top again, bash off the frog. He killed the frog, absorb his experience. Plink, plink. See ya, froggy. Oh, God. There it is. There's the experience.
Oh,
and he didn't level up.
He's got to get more XP to level up. He's
gotta... that is tragic.
Yeah, I guess the routing didn't work out, so he's going to have to kill that Froggy there to now actually be able to level up.
I think that this frog, if I recall correctly, drops 45 experience. So many times when we used to do this route, runners would pause and make sure that they were within 45 experience of leveling up. And it looks like he might be closer to maybe 70 or so. So for that reason, he's not going to be able to level up and may need to go get some additional experience. And really the only way to get small amounts of experience at this point is by killing enemies, which takes time and is sort of annoying. But we'll see if Xeirla has any more luck with it this time. Meanwhile, while we've been talking about this, Rufus has made it all the way to climb, so Rufus is just, you know, showing his experience, just making it through this run.
Yeah, super nice clean movement from him, and you'd expect of someone who's known the game for a while. Oh, Xeirla doesn't have enough XP.
He's gonna have to kill some additional enemies.
No, yeah. That one Frankie wasn't enough, so you'd have to go find some more somewhere. He's heading over to the right room.
It's sort of an unfortunate situation when you find yourself in this spot in a speedrun. At this point, it would have been quite a bit faster to just do the intended route and take out the right side and then the left side separately. But of course, Xeirla couldn't have really known that until he messed up the core skip and thus started paying attention to his experience, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So, Rufus, on the left side, he's... Ooh, yeah, Xeirla takes a death. Not what we want to see, but...
Yeah, you see Xeirla checking his experience there. One other thing that can be difficult about this trick is usually you get used to the cadence of exactly where you make your safety saves. So in situations like this where you need to adapt, it can be quite easy to sort of have a mental gap, and you go grab a bunch of experience and then forget to rekindle your safety save. Then you die unexpectedly and you have to go do it all over again. So Xeirla is really having some trouble with this. It's going to look super cool once you get it, but once he gets it, believe me, he just has to manage his experience first.
Yeah, and meanwhile, we gotta give a shout out to Rufus, who's been having a super clean Misty, and he's on to the mini-boss, which you kind of wonder if there actually even a mini-boss? You never know.
Depends on the execution, whether there's a mini-boss or not. This mini-boss is 2 mini-bosses in one, and there are a handful of quick kill methods to take them out. We saw some very nice quick kill methods in that last race, Steinman versus Richard. I think they both felt like a very similar quick kill method on the mini-boss. Rufus took a little bit longer, but more importantly, he just took them out without dying too much. We see Xeirla going way back down. to get a whole bunch of experience. Man, he's really working his way back down for this.
Yeah, I mean, we could have told him to just do the right side normally, but nope, he's persistent. He's gonna go for it.
Well, sometimes there's a bit of a stubbornness component, and I mean that in a good way. You know, similar to how a runner on a super good pace can say, no, I'm not gonna chicken out. I'm gonna do every hard strat because my pride is on the line. That may be how Xeirla's feeling. He really wants to show off this core skip. It could also be that he just hasn't even really practiced the right side of the room, so he isn't comfortable with it.
No, yeah.
Could be a variety of things.
Definitely.
I also wonder, by the way, if Xeirla knows exactly how much XP the frog drops. He might not.
Yeah, he looks like he's mostly just kind of eyeballing it and by the circle and just seeing, it looks close. So he's got more XP. He's looking to try it out again. Actually,
looks like he's going to take out the spider. Yep, see a spider. It'll drop little bits of experience. I don't know if that's close enough. We'll find out. While Xeirla is doing this, I want to make sure we don't ignore Rufus. Just because Rufus is doing the more traditional route doesn't mean that it's less exciting. He is working through this quite well, and Rufus is now taking the bold choice to move through this section here, and looks like he's taking it a hair safe on his Yoka cycle there. But Rufus is doing the save anywhere on controller. And remember that on controller, if you jump when your cursor's on an ability that you can buy, you will do both things at the same time, which means that in this context, you would mess up your save anywhere and have to watch the cutscene. Rufus did not make that mistake, but that means that he had to plan out his movement and put his cursor at a location such that he could do all his movement without spending a point at the wrong time.
that's right. And meanwhile, Xeirla's on a new world of stubbornness. He actually reloaded a backup save so that he can get more XP coming into this.
The thing about it, though, is that I wonder how much that's actually going to help Xeirla, because presumably he's going to get similar amounts of experience, and I guess unless he goes out of his way to get as much experience as possible. We'll find out as Xeirla makes his way up to the top. Fair to say that Rufus has a very, very sizable lead at this point, which is what we expected going in. Rufus is having a little bit of issues getting out of this area. He hasn't taken a lot of damage, but he has been, some of his movement has been a little bit, sloppy is the word for it, but he is making it through, has to avoid this boulder. We'll also likely see Rufus grab the health cell around this side before grabbing the teleporter. Yep, there it is. So from here, Rufus is going to go ahead and teleport back to Thornfelt Swamp and then head towards Mount Horu.
No, yeah, Rufus at this point isn't really on a PvP pace, but he's still making some very great time, and we should expect a new best race time from him if this final section from Horu and the Horu escape is clean.
That's right. I do wonder how Xeirla's going to manage this. We see him dropping back down out of that final area again to try to go get more experience. It might be that earlier in the run he maybe missed a very important pickup that he needed or something. Yep, we're going to see him just blinking away and taking out every single enemy that he can find to try to maximize his experience, as Rufus on the left took a quick death and got sent back to the teleport.
Okay, this final section, it's got a lot of trickiness to it if you take it slowly, but Rufus, he could do a save there, but he opts to not, and he's just gonna keep bashing off of these enemies and get into this field of elementals or turrets.
Well, I'll say this, as Rufus approaches his third dungeon, which he's going to be doing pretty much none of. Oh, wow! How did that not hit it?
Oh my god.
I'm going to need the freeze frame on that. Holy cow.
It looked like the Bangling actually jumped over him as he like ducked down from that jump. That was super nice. Wow.
Anyway, Rufus is coming up on his dwarf attempts, so we'll see how it goes. Rufus is going to get it first try. He knows what he's doing.
You send some high standards for him.
Okay, it's fine. It's going to be second try. Guaranteed
Yeah.
second try.
Second try.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking. Every time I talk, he doesn't get it.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's me. Maybe we should both be talking.
Everybody be very quiet.
Guys, be quiet. Rufus is doing his door work.
I'll point out this while Rufus is taking his attempts. Although Rufus does not have potential to get a personal best anymore, he does have potential to beat his race time. Remember that Rufus's first race was earlier today, only about 5 or 6 hours ago against Flux, and during that race he got a 46:40, I think it was. And so Rufus can very easily beat that 46:40 in this run.
No,
He can mess up a lot and still beat 46:40.
No,
so
definitely.
that's I think what we'll hope to see now.
So Xeirla actually checked his XP this time, and he's 55 away. Oh, look. Oh,
Was that a 46?
oh, I think he's 46 XP away.
I think it drops 45. I think. I might be wrong about that.
He may have to kill one more enemy.
Well, it looks like he might be taking out the Frankie, and Rufus is through his door warp. Looks like that was a 13th try door warp. That is a frame perfect trick, so it can be a little bit tricky. It's a bit of a mind game almost, since it's just one input. It's not hard, you just have to do it right, and if you don't, you can start to get in your head and mess it up. But Rufus is through, and he's on to the final escape. Rufus does have 6 health rather than 5, so he's going to have a bit of an easier time in the final poison water section, but we'll see if he can make it through the rest without taking damage.
Yeah, entering a horror escape with 37 time is definitely on track to beat his best race time. So, moving so far.
Okay, I do want to quickly interrupt. Pay attention to the right side. There's the level up. See ya, corruption.
So we're gonna have two different escapes at once. Very interesting.
Looks like, okay, Xeirla decided to rekindle that save. I think it saves at the start of this escape sequence anyway. I'm so excited I'm messing up my words. So we're going to pay attention to the left here first. I'd say Rufus is going to be bashing some of these boulders up. He has to take his attempt at grenade jump. Did make it through the poison water just fine, lining up the shot on the wall. Got it first try with no soft block. GG to Rufus.
Very nice. Now we need to quickly switch that audio so we can hear that Ginzo escape music, am I right?
Pretty much. It is possible to skip the water in this final escape sequence and make it a little bit easier. Xeirla did not do that because Xeirla, despite his difficulties with Core Warp, is just going to prove how much of an amazing player. I mean, you are talking to the Whack-On Tablet world record holder for Ori after all.
Yeah, definitely. He's making good time. You got a pretty interesting scene here where you got red on the left and blue on the right. Very nice.
Nice color schemes. Rufus is just going to walk to the right with Ndaro. He's coming up on his final time, which we will verify shortly. We tend to use the time off of the runner's streams just to make sure that the internet latency has not accidentally added a second or two or anything like that. So it looks like 38:54 is confirmed as Rufus's final time. That is not a PB, but that improves his race time by, what, like almost 8 minutes?
Yeah, that's a huge new best race time. Definitely going to change up where he currently is in the bracket. So, again, a very nice run there by Rufus.
For sure.
Yeah, not too many mistakes, I'd say. So he's got to be feeling pretty happy about that.
Well, I guess from now, the only thing left to do is just focus all of our attention on Xeirla, who has made it out of the escape, having no problems whatsoever. He is not afraid of water, as we suspected. Missed a jump there, that's okay. He's just going to go around and do it. And if anyone was wondering what Ori looks like when you're playing on a tablet, I guess now you can give Xeirla your undivided attention.
Oh, man.
You're just saying hi.
Yeah.
Just saying hi to him.
He's got Stomp, so now he's going to be moving mostly to the left now for a little bit as he gets to the other side of the map.
Uh-oh. Oh. That thing died. I think it'll come back because that enemy is required to get out of this this section, and I have to imagine that Moon Studios is aware of that. So I'm guessing it'll respawn. Yep, there it does. The magic regenerating lizard had its revenge. This is going to cause another level up, though, is the problem. All right, looks like Xeirla intelligently he intentionally positioned himself to not spawn the lizard, saving himself a little bit of time. He's just going to make it out. Yeah, okay, if you hold that stomp, you can hug the spikes and you don't take damage.
Yeah, that was very nice. Ooh. No damage in that water. Very nice.
Also, I'm fairly certain that I misspoke earlier. Earlier in this run, I said that Xeirla was also going to be going for 6 health. I just realized he doesn't actually have to because his water is clean. So he doesn't need it.
He can go for whatever he wants, and now he's doing a good Drainless, an old trick, to get rid of that platform below him in the water.
That looks good to me if he spends a point. The idea here is that Xeirla is trying to buffer a stomp in midair. Generally speaking, with Ori in the Blind Forest, when you buffer something and then you exit and reload, the action tends to finish. And so with Xeirla buffering a stomp and then spending a point when he reloads, hopefully it will finish the stomp underwater. So that's step 1 is the buffer, which he did very nicely. Step 2 is that when you make a save in midair, which you can do using a save anywhere or other means, when you respawn, Ori gets teleported straight downward to the nearest platform, which is why you get teleported underwater and finish your stomp. that's everyone's primer on Drainless.
Yep. And now he's moving up and out of here. He's heading to Kuro. And we'll see how it goes for him.
If someone could time out Terra, that would be great.
Yeah,
Who
someone
said
get on
that? Okay, so this trick is super precise, as we mentioned, and he got it. Nice job,
Wow.
Xeirla.
Very nice. And I wasn't sure. I don't believe Rufus is able to get it. And Xeirla pulling it off. Very nice.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. That is a very precise trick. I mean, it's all about positioning. At the end of the day, you just need to be in the right location, and then you need to bash the frog's projectile at the correct time, which Xeirla did. I mean, he's already lost the race, so victory is not within sight, but he prevented a 17-second time loss. So, you know, if Xeirla had anything like desperately that he had to do at the end of this race, he can now do it 17 seconds earlier than he would have been able to.
That's right. And oh my gosh, very nice. He accidentally killed that spider, so you couldn't do the long jump over the pit, but that was super nice movement from him.
Oh, so close. That's fine. That was a very
Ooh.
intelligent safety save. Again, we've had a number of those nice safety saves this run. That safety save is especially nice. That's fine. That safety save is especially nice because picking up an energy cell fully refills your energy, which means that there's no concern about running out of energy for another section, because right after this you get charge jump or charge flame, excuse me, anyway. So you're sort of guaranteed to have all your health and energy refilled at that point.
Yeah, that's right. So he is not going to change the difficulty, because we got to play on normal mode. He's going to be not actually charge flaming those walls, because we don't have charge flame yet, but you can actually use stomp to clear them out.
You can indeed. So Xeirla is making his way over to Charge Flame. He's going to bait this Frankie down with him because it's a little bit faster to get out, and you don't need to waste a Charge Flame getting through the barricade over there. And then we're going to see Xeirla first going and skipping the Spirit Tree cutscene, and then heading off to the left side as well, where things are going to get real hot and heavy for Xeirla. He has a lot of tricky movement to do in the left side of the map.
Definitely, but I wasn't sure if he's going to go for some of the advanced tricks like fast stompless. We will see a Star Bash from him, but apart from that, not too sure.
Right, and we do have Rufus, by the way, waiting in our on-deck voice channel to interview with us. I'm just sort of verifying that he's ready to go, and I'm going to go ahead and pull in Rufus right about now. Hey, Rufus.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. Congratulations on your win, dude.
Thank you very much.
So we will sort of continue watching Xeirla. Xeirla's just making his way over to the left side of the map if you don't have up the stream, Rufus. But while he's doing that, we're going to go ahead and interview Rufus in the interest of time. So Rufus, first I just have a question. How are you? How are things?
I'm doing awesome. I feel really good after that race, especially compared to the one I had earlier today. I don't know, for those who saw it, I kind of decided to set up a spaghetti shot mid-run, and that wasn't going well for me, but I did a lot better here. It kind of got a lot of my confidence back, just like knowing that I can do some of these hard tricks, and so it feels really great.
Oh yeah, you definitely's got to feel good having I believe over about 7-minute new best race time. While it isn't a PB, it's again going to set you up very nice for that bracket stage coming up.
Yeah, and you're within like a minute and a half of PB anyway, so it was not too far off.
Yeah, I think I was actually on and off PB paces a couple times. It was kind of weird because obviously I didn't have my full splits up. I just had the timer. And then also, since the strategies have changed, it's kind of like at times I would be ahead of my timer, be like, wait, like I don't know how far ahead I am. And then, so I was like getting really nervous towards the end there because I thought I was for sure on PB pace.
Sure. Well, I want to ask you a question. Did you, as compared to your race earlier today, did you take any additional strategies that you didn't do in the last run, or do you think your play was just overall cleaner this time?
I guess the only way would be I took a lot more safety measures. For example, on the swamp entry. So I kind of, like, while I was rewatching the race, I went over it, kind of see how I played and where I could improve and stuff. Some of the commentators were talking about taking an extra save or being able to do a bash and not take damage, and these things like I just didn't even know like or think occur to me to do. So I definitely took extra saves in spots where I was like, oh yeah, they're right, like why didn't I take a save there, and then died right after. So in that sense, yes. And then yeah, the play is definitely cleaner. I dedicated a bunch of time today just to doing segments and stuff like that. So
Well, it seems that the safer time, it worked out a lot better. So
I guess safer is better, and that's the lesson here.
I have another question for you, Rufus. I saw on your response, your questionnaire information, that you also run Odyssey, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Haven't
Yeah,
for a while, but
yeah, you were involved in their tournament a little bit, weren't you? Just out of curiosity.
I was.
Yeah. So my question is, well, I guess you maybe answered it a little bit. Is I was going to ask, are you still running Odyssey? And I guess if the answer is no, then that kills a follow-up. But the follow-up part of my question is, how are you practicing Ori, or how are you splitting your time between Ori and potential other speed games?
Yeah, I kind of was just really into that game right when it came out, and then with the tournament, it was a lot of fun. I was really enjoying it, and then I kind of took a break because of real life, and right now Ori is basically the main thing on my plate. It is kind of nice though, on kind of a side note, to have a game that's like on a portable console like that, because it allows me when I'm not around my computer or whatever, to be able to practice, even if it's not as much time as I was dedicated in the past, just to like, hey, I feel like doing a run, or I feel like doing this thing or this new trick I saw, so I'll pull it up and just try it out.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt our interview. This bird just has Ori's number.
It's bullying him.
Got the save off, so he's fine. Anyway, Queen, do you have any questions for Rufus?
So, I believe you have, you're in one of these stages with 5, so you actually got a few more matches. What are you looking to improve on your next matches coming up in the group stage?
Yeah, I think the main thing is just to clean up the play. I got most of the tricks fairly quickly, but just kind of to be able to have cleaner and better movement across and be able to put up better times. I still know I can PB without, or like, it should be pretty free, since my PB doesn't have, it has like old Sorrow strats, it doesn't have grenade jump, it doesn't have swamp entry, so there's like over a minute of just free time save. So yeah, just kind of, I'm hoping to be able to improve my time and put up good races.
Yeah, well, I'll be excited to see it, dude. I mean, you improved your race time this time by like almost 8 minutes. So by following that pattern, you'll get a 30 in your next race. So I look forward to that.
And then a 22.
Yep, 30 and then a 22. Show us how it's done, Rufus.
Yeah, so the 22 will be against Illegimini, so you guys are going to want to catch that one.
Ooh, nice. Very nice.
Don't miss it. Well, Rufus, thanks for chatting with us. I do kind of want to focus back in, because Xeirla has, while we've been talking, he made it all the way to Feather. He made it through his Sour Bash after some attempts. Now he's making it through this spiky zone and is heading towards the store. But yeah, Rufus, thanks for talking to us, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Enjoy the rest of the race. Okay, so Xeirla, as we said, made it through his Sour Bash, made it through this area, took a death though, and did not do a Ghost Door. Thankfully, Xeirla did have a save partway through this area and did not have to do the entire Sour Bash again. I'm not going to use another pun because I don't want to misuse them. If you have a pun, you can feel free to use it, but I want to save mine for future races.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. I don't want to use one I've used in the past, though. I gotta think of more chips.
It's a challenge. I literally, like, on the same page where I have all my notes about the runners, I have a bunch of them written down. I have like check marks for the ones I've already used and X's next to ones that other people stole from me, which has happened twice so far.
Well, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Yeah, it's a hard time for me, but I'll find a way to make it through. Speaking of making it through, Xeirla has made it through the spikes. Let's see what I did there. Xeirla made it to charge jump, so now he's going to be heading back out. And I would expect to see him do the same tear break that we see multiple times. For setting up this tear break, you can open up your save anywhere from multiple different locations. Some runners opt to carry it through the charge jump tree and then all the way out again. Some runners decide to reuse their Ghost Door save. Xeirla, it looks like he's going to make it back off to the right and then either manually make another save or even reuse the same save that he made before coming through this area for the first time. Just made a safety save. I'm guessing we'll see him let his Soul Link recharge and then make it.
I definitely make his way through that weird U, but now he's gonna set up his Terra Break.
Speaking of Terra Break, something about, I see what you're saying, Terra, and I don't appreciate it. I just want you to know that, and I want everyone watching to know that I see that. But that's okay. So Xeirla made his save up in the air. He's going to take an intentional death here. He still has his UI on, so pressing A jump there. I think Xeirla does have 5 health, I think, because he took the 2 energy door. I think he did. Maybe I'm completely off base here. Yep, there he's down to 1 health, which means that Xeirla had to get damaged twice in order to make it through. Did take out the door, and then rather than carry his save anywhere up, decided to just go back down and save. I don't see an ability point in Xeirla's ability wheel, do you?
Yeah. No, I'm trying to imagine what he was missed. If he thought his XP route was good, but
Well, it's multiple things that could happen. It could be the experience route that got a little bit messed up, as we saw with the issues earlier with the core skip at the top of Ginso Tree, or it could just be that Xeirla misspent a point somewhere. I think that he's low in experience. Unfortunately, what does that mean, Clean?
gotta watch a cutscene. We got lore in this game. If you haven't seen much lore throughout today, here's some lore for you.
You know, I'm gonna do play-by-play on this cutscene.
Okay, I'm excited.
That'll be something to occupy our time. Okay, so here we see the screen fading to black. We have a very exciting situation here. We see somewhere earlier in the game, which we haven't actually seen in the prologue. So this is something that most runners actually won't even see in the speedrun. We're going to see the camera pan inside to Naru's dead body. Remember, way earlier in the prologue that Naru did take a death. Gumo comes in here with his orb. Nice movement all the way in here. He's going to use that orb to restore Naru after just a little bit of an unskippable cutscene. It turns out it's faster to just watch this one than skip it with a rekindle cutscene. We're going to see this little orb go off, and Naru's going to get off, and the both of them are going to go off on a fun, happy adventure out of this area. Eventually, later in the game, heading their way towards Mount Horror. You see Gumo sort of gesturing, hinting at Naru for her to go. As Naru gets up, what a fantastic first try skip from Gumo there. They're going to be making their way off. Wow, that was certainly something.
Yeah.
I think that puts our previous race to shame.
No, yeah, definitely. So Gumo pointing out where the next place to go. Wow, they're actually going under the log. Is that faster?
Wow. It might be faster. It's hard to say. We're going to have to do some testing. Boy, that was certainly something clean.
Oh yeah, Xeirla, all the skill in the world. And now we're back to the actual game.
Okay, back to the actual game. Ordinarily, that is a cutscene that you can skip using a save anywhere trick. But Xeirla, as we said, messed up his experience a little bit, and so didn't have a point to skip it. So just has to watch it. But with that cutscene out of the way, Xeirla is going to be stomping down out of this area just as quick as he can go, and is going to go into Misty Woods next. Remember that due to the Sarabash sequence break, we are doing Misty Woods out of order, which means that we have charge jump in Misty, where ordinarily you would not, and you would have to do a lot more feathering and bashing to get through the zone.
Yeah. And you may be. Ooh. We're gonna see.
Are we
some...
gonna see Wilhelm?
Woo!
Yeah, we are.
Ah, there he goes. And now, Xeirla is gonna get a little bit more energy, and that's perfectly as expected. Sometimes, you'll spend energy in Misty without even realizing.
I'm not quite sure what Xeirla was doing there, to be quite honest. He's supposed to be going down. I think he's trying to.
He's trying to go down.
I think he's trying to do a meteor kick. He's trying to go down faster. Okay, you know what? That was cool. That was worth it. I do have to say, I admire Xeirla's, I guess, persistence is the word for it. I mean, despite all those issues with core skip earlier, Xeirla is still just working through this and making sure to provide entertainment for all of our lovely viewers here. So, you know, props to Xeirla for that. And I'll be very curious to see how well he's able to pull off this area in Misty Woods. I don't know how he's doing any of this on his input device, though.
Neither do I, and it may forever remain a mystery throughout the tournament, but maybe one day we'll actually be able to see it. It's doing a nice rocket jump here to get at that Frankie. That was close. My goodness.
You can do a series of charge dashes and whatnot in the air, but I would not expect to see that from the Wacom tablet. So Xeirla's going to make it over to the left. We may see a safety save here. It's a pretty common location. Xeirla's only at half an energy, it looks like, which means that Xeirla does not have enough energy to do charge dashes.
No, yeah.
Which can be a problem. Just in case anyone's unfamiliar, charge dashing does cost energy. There's an energy back. Charge dashing costs energy, but you can refund it in a number of ways. But in order to make it through somewhere like Misty, it's very, very useful to have at least one full energy at any given moment, because then you can just use the energy, refund it, and basically just reuse it over and over and over again. We did see Xeirla with another safety save, so Xeirla is sort of continuing his trend of just playing just a little bit safer and make sure that he doesn't lose additional time in some of these sections, which really are pretty scary. I mean, everything here is trying to hurt you.
These spikes.
Like
he
that.
takes a hit. Not able to get messed up there. He's through that spike section. Wow, scary.
Okay, using charge jump to do a very, very small skip through the bottom of that barricade, and has made it all the way over to climb. That is skill number 10 out of 11. Take my energy, Xeirla. There's only one to go. You can do this.
He's definitely got it. And after the little hiccup in Ginzo, he's been making some pretty nice time and some very nice movement.
Yeah. Clean, what is your favorite area of Ori? Is it Misty Woods or is it not Misty Woods? It's okay if it's not Misty Woods.
I mean, going through Misty Woods for me the first time was definitely a weird experience. And by the end of it, it's like, oh, it's all gone. So it's definitely very interesting to like go through all these puzzles. Sadly, we will not go through many of these puzzles in our speed run, but again, overall, it's a pretty interesting area. Oh my!
Look at Xeirla wrecking those forest animals.
My goodness.
The brutal savage. He shows no mercy.
No,
I love it.
Me too. And he's gonna be doing a little bit more savagery as he dashes through these enemies here to get his way down these spikes.
Oh god. This slime in particular is scary. Okay, good job. If you bash that slime at the wrong angle, it tends to hit the wall like right next to you and does 2 damage, which I don't know offhand how much health Xeirla currently has because his UI is off. I think he would survive it, but still, you don't want to take 2 damage if you can help it.
And there's 2 energy you can get up here, and I'd expect another safety save. There you go. Another safety save there right there.
Well, Xeirla, we'll see if he decides to go for this rocket jump. I think he tried to go for the rocket jump because you saw his charge dash go off. Rocket jumping is just a variation of charge dash at the end of the day, and so if you ever see a close rocket jump and a charge dash instead, that probably means that the rocket jump was just a little bit off. Was that another attempt at a rocket jump?
Possibly. Ooh, he's gonna take that, but again, not too far. Yeah, it's a weird rocket jump of Misty. You gotta use that slime on that ceiling to go through it. Definitely not one you to see from runners like
that. And just to, while we have a moment to talk here, rocket jump is a skill that we've seen a billion times in this tournament. The way that rocket jump works is not that complicated. It's that when you charge dash at an enemy that's above or below you, and then you press jump to cancel that charge dash, you get to keep your vertical speed, i.e. the game kind of forgets to slow you down when you're doing charge dashes in an upward or downward direction. But one interesting side effect, as Xeirla takes another death, one interesting side effect of the way that rocket jumps work is that you can get more or less vertical speed based on how far above you the thing is that you're trying to rocket jump off of, if that sentence made sense. So what's hard about this rocket jump here is that the slime is not directly above you. It's sort of off to the side, so you have to be kind of close to it, close enough that you can get enough vertical height to make it through the meatball shaft, and that's just not easy to do. Sort of a clunky explanation, but hopefully that conveyed the idea.
Yeah, and it did look like that Xeirla was actually trying to go for some kind of rocket jump up it. It's very interesting.
And again, that's just sort of the nice attitude. Xeirla is not letting these mistakes sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, are not letting these mistakes discourage him from going for some of the cooler strats. Xeirla's about to come into his double mini-boss at the end of Misty. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to kill it. The main one is called Bang Zoom. We got some very interesting trick names here. Where you essentially do like a stomp, jump, and dash into one slime, and then charge dash into the other, and it kills them both very nicely. That's what it looked like Xeirla was going for.
Oh god!
My goodness.
That's super close. Dashing in this game is a very cool skill, but it has an annoying tendency to sort of cling to the ground beneath you, and sometimes that means that you will cling. Or when you dash sort of off of a small ledge, sometimes rather than dashing into the air, you'll just sort of cling to that edge, and that's what happened to Xeirla as he hugged the ground into the spikes and took a bit of damage. But he is out with some nice charge dashes. He's going to go ahead and teleport back to Blackroot Burrows for a revisit. Technically, the Sunken Glades teleporter, but it's close to Blackroot Burrows, and then Xeirla just has to grab one more skill. He is getting to the end of this thing.
Yeah,
slowly
definitely.
but surely.
He's gonna go ahead and do a save, refill that energy. Sometimes you may have a less than optimal amount of energy to be able to make it.
Can you really quickly actually explain, Clean, like why Xeirla was moving slowly there? That's something that people might not be fully familiar with.
So really early on, and we've done this a few times, you skip some cutscenes there, but due to that cutscene skip, there's still a bit of a slow zone, and the slow zone is where the cutscene will begin. So you'll see another slow zone coming up where Xeirla will do maybe a dash glide or some kind of air dash and over it, so that
Oh wow! Did you know that you can duck underneath that laser? Did you also know that you cannot duck underneath Frankies in midair?
I did not know that laser. That was very interesting to see.
The more you know about Ori, yeah, you can totally just duck underneath that thing. It's really spooky, but you can do it. You can duck underneath a handful. Like, I don't know if you played the randomizer very much clean, but for that laser that just zapped Ori, you can duck under certain parts of it as well, which you can use to get through with a very limited skill set. It's another one of those little weird Ori quirks. I have no idea why it happens on a technical level. Like, you know, presumably the hitbox is just a little bit high. It's just sort of very strange that it works the way that it does.
Yeah.
I'm happy that it works the way that it does. It's just unusual.
I've yet to be in randomized, but I've seen some, and it'd be fun to actually get in some of those.
Dude, I'm in the market for a new member for Team Zode if you wanna join.
Nice. Oh
no!
He tried to. Basically, you're gonna try to do is try to charge dash into that bird there, but if you don't, you get a face full of spikes.
You do. Well, that was another example of just a barely missed, not a rocket jump in that case, but a barely missed charge dash towards the bird. When you press charge dash, it's just a button, right? There's no aim component to it. So when you charge dash, you either charge dash directly left or right, or you charge dash at whatever target is near you that the game decides to target. And so right there, Xeirla was trying to have the game auto-target the bird and just must have been off by a tiny amount. And so defaulted to going straight left. Barely dodged that laser too, and this time with the safety save, so if Xeirla makes that same mistake again, he will be able to, okay, that time he got to the bird, and now he's going to be able to skip a cutscene. I hope he's going to be able to skip a cutscene.
Should be, yeah.
He does, okay.
He can, so he's going to set up, open his UI, and he's going to walk into it, and...
Oh. And there we go. That's okay. The screen can fade to black, which means that you can't pause and exit for a minute, but you still have successfully skip the cutscene, so no worries there. That's the last big cutscene that Xeirla's going to have to skip, so we are sort of out of the woods as far as cutscenes go.
Yeah, definitely no more time for that XP manipulation there. So we got grenade, and we are heading out of Blackroot Burrows.
Yes, we are. That's the last skill of the game. I would not expect to see a bunch of fancy grenade jumps, just because it's a silly thing to do. I lied.
You lied. Oh wow. Very
just kidding.
nice.
Retroactively, it's a really cool thing to do, and I'm glad that Xeirla's going for them. Pull that one off like first try too. It is a frame perfect trick after all, so anytime a runner can pull off a frame perfect trick like that with consistency, I think is worth acknowledging.
Yeah. And Xeirla is just one of those players you don't expect to do certain tricks or perform in a certain way, but there you go with some very nice grenade jumps heading out of Blackroot.
That's right. As we said, that is every single skill in the game for Xeirla, deciding to make a nice safety save before this boulder section, because this boulder hitbox can be a little bit wonky, and if you make even small movement errors, it can really cost you in the form of your life. But no mistakes today, and he doesn't need that extra health, although you may see Xeirla go for it anyway. No, I think, yeah, saving on that Spirit Will may have even been a mistake, I'm not sure. Xeirla doesn't need the extra health because he finished the Ginso escape, which means that he does not need the minimum 5 health to make it through the poison water in the escape, because his water is not poison, it's just super crystal clear.
Oh, yeah. So, you can see some very pretty water where Ginso is, and so all Xeirla has left is the way to Horu.
Yes, he does. Along the way, I would expect to see a series of charge dashes, a series of bashes, a series of dashes, just sort of as fluidly as he can, chaining all his different abilities together, trying to minimize damage and hopefully not get hit by that laser. That laser can sort of spawn facing left or facing right, and if you're too far to the left, when that thing starts shooting, it'll usually shoot left and sort of cut you off, which is exactly what happened there. So Xeirla is going to take a second attempt at it. Thankfully, if you die there, you do only get sent back to the Spirit Well, so you don't get sent back like incredibly far. But we are going to be heading up there again. And then the next challenge for Xeirla is going to be his Door Warp. We saw Rufus get it not first try. I'm blanking on the number of attempts that it took him, but it took a number of attempts, and so we'll see if Xeirla can do better when he gets there.
No, yeah, and not trying to do any. We're gonna try not to do any commentator's curse, but Xeirla's actually been perfect on Door War. First try for his first 2 races, so that's super nice.
No pressure, Xeirla. If he gets triple first try Door War, though, I mean that's you literally cannot do better than that.
Yeah, you gotta wonder if there's anyone else who's been able to pull that off.
Probably someone has, but I don't know offhand who it might be. It's just a matter of timing, and there are multiple ways you can do this trick. Since, just to reiterate, the way this trick works is that you have to press up to enter a door on the frame that the game loads after you enter Horu. Wow!
Ooh, this bailing.
He's using
tracking
the
him down. Oh, there you go. So he's actually gonna go for another grenade jump here.
Come on.
Send it up.
Oh, so close. So
Ooh.
close.
A little
Okay,
late.
he's
It
just
looks
gonna
like
go
he's just opt. Yeah, opt to just go ahead and do some charge dashes into it. And he's on to Horu.
Anyway, so yeah, we'll take our predictions. I'm gonna guess first try. I'm feeling optimistic. I think he can get it first try.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also optimistic. And after he does this, he'll be on to the final escape. So,
Right,
see.
so there's the autosave. You can hear the autosave if you don't see anything since the UI is off. Reloading the game, he's going to try to press up. Wow.
Wow. Perfect. Door War, 3 for 3.
For anyone who is mathematically challenged, that is a 100% consistency during his 3 tournament races so far at a frame perfect trick.
Yeah,
Not
it's
bad.
1/67 second. That's how many 1/60s?
Pretty much. So Xeirla's going to make his way through the escape. As we mentioned, Xeirla doesn't have to make it through poison water because his water is not poison. So Xeirla's going to have an easy time there. Also, Xeirla has not gone for the grenade jump, I don't believe, during this. So we'll see whether he decides to go for it at the end. We have seen grenade jumps from Xeirla so far, so I'd be kind of surprised if he didn't go for this. But we'll find out pretty shortly when he gets there, assuming Xeirla doesn't have any issues with all the hazards in this escape sequence.
That's right. Gonna be charge dashing through this wall, and again, so as you said, he's cleaned up the water, so not have to worry about these fish down here. Ooh, he takes a hit, but again, doesn't have to worry about it. You have to worry about Kuro, actually.
That's kind of close, actually. Did make it out, though. Is going to go through the water, as we said, does not have to worry about poison. So here you can do a charge jump to prevent Kuro from spawning. Looks good to me. It's not ultra precise. You just have to kind of do it right. He's going to go up and do another charge jump, bash off some boulders, and then head up towards maybe grenade jump?
We shall see. Ooh,
Kind of looks like he's going
close
for
measure
it.
dodge. Oh,
He is.
yeah,
Okay.
he is.
That's
Here we
low.
go.
That's low. That's real low. That's real low. Even if he gets this, it may soft lock him. So
Well-
I'm... If Xeirla hasn't gone for this trick, he might not be incredibly familiar with where the correct positioning is. I am worried about this trick. We'll see if Xeirla can pull it off. He did pull off other successful grenade jumps, so I know he knows how to do it. But this may soft lock him even if he gets it. Otherwise, he may just decide to continue off to the right and finish. He does have unlimited time since Kuro is not spawned.
Yeah, definitely. And that's basically the only real danger of doing this grenade jump is that chance to soft lock. So that may be why sometimes some people opt not to do it. But Xeirla does have quite a number of attempts. He's still got 3 energy.
Yep, each time you see a grenade pop out, that's going to cost half an energy, so that's 5 more attempts he can take at maximum. Interesting. That is
Actually,
not what I expected to happen. Xeirla got a successful grenade jump, but he did not soft lock. He just bonked the top of the log and just walked out normally. So even though he did get his grenade jump, he didn't actually get the trick in the sense that he sort of got it successfully in save time. He's still going to have to hold right as usual. But pretty shortly here, we will be getting a final time for Xeirla. This final cutscene little sequence is going to be longer than it was for Rufus, but he only still just has to hold right. There's not a lot to it.
Yeah, overall, besides that little bit of a hiccup with the XP and Ginzo, I mean, you got to give it to Xeirla. Pulling off some very clean Misty, some grenade jumps. I mean, he had it all.
Yep, Xeirla is almost done. We are a little bit running over our hour here, and we have another match coming up. So right when Xeirla's done and we get confirmation on his final time, we're not going to waste time. We're pretty much just going to close out you know, as quickly as we can. Probably won't give too many explicit updates on our groups and whatnot. So here Xeirla is getting up with Naru, this character that we saw brilliantly commentated in the cutscene earlier. Just has to hold right as he goes over here. Hop, 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 waddle, 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 jump, jump, jump. And there will be time. Nicely done. Looks like the final time for Xeirla is confirmed at 1:11:50, which I believe is still significantly faster than Terra's PB. So GG Xeirla there, finishing that one out.
Yeah, I mean, gotta give it to him, pulling off a nice time here.
Absolutely. Had some trouble, but Xeirla's out. Congrats to Rufus on his victory. We already interviewed Rufus. We are not going to be interviewing Xeirla just in the interest of time. And otherwise, I just want to get wrapped up real quickly. You can see the group standings there in Swallow's Nest. With that victory, Rufus is 2-0 compared to Xeirla being at 1-2 with the loss. But Clean, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, but Xeirla still has one more match, and we still have quite a number of matches in this 5 group. So overall, I'm still very excited, and it was a pleasure commentating with you, Grim.
Yeah, same to you. Stick around. We have another Ori race coming up right away.
We will see you in a little bit.